I do want to first commend all of the speakers. Listening to the stories, listening to your telling of what happened to you was as difficult as it was for you to hear, for you to say. It saddens me very much to hear that as a school person, as a member of our community, as a mother, and as a person who just feels the pain that you express. So I do thank you for sharing your very, very sad stories. I would like to say on behalf of Campbell Union High School District that this is a problem for us. It's a national problem. And when we heard about the instances from speakers about the cyberbullying or the statistics that were read, that this can happen 24 hours a day. It can happen without anyone knowing it. The advent of the internet and Facebook and instant messaging makes it all that much easier for people to do these kinds of horrible things. I do want to say that in the schools, we would be very foolish if anyone were to say that this is not a problem. But I think in meetings like this, and as communities, as students, as parents work together, several students mentioned, you know, I've seen bullying and I didn't know what to do about it. At one of our last parent meetings, we had a group of parents ask for assistance. Could we have someone come in and talk to them about what they could do when they hear stories, when they're driving students in the car, or when they hear students come over to their homes and they hear the discussion. So that's something that we've planned on bringing to our parent representative meetings. I'm not sure how much time there is for this question, but okay, 30 seconds. I do have several comments that I would like to make about programs that are happening in the schools that are successful. And I would hope that we can do more, and with the help of the students and the continued help with community, I hope that we can do more.
In order to address this problem more effectively, we all need to understand it better. How is the bullying happening? What schools are safest? Who are the bullies and who are their targets? We also need to understand how widespread is the problem. What else can we learn about the emotional and social well-being of our school children? Will you work with us to complete a district-wide assessment of the problem of bullying in order to understand the scope of the problem as comprehensively as possible, and to make that data publicly available for each school and for the different subsets of children in those schools?
We have just recently completed in all of our schools a survey with the Cornerstone Project. And the Cornerstone Project deals with students, and it talks about developmental assets. And that is something that we just recently completed. We are waiting to see the data on that. If you're asking, would we continue to work, or would we look at other forms of gathering information? Absolutely, we would.
Thank you, Dr. Farber. Can we count on your support for making that data available once you've received it as well?
Yes, the Cornerstone information will be public. This is done throughout Santa Clara County. So the county will have data on, I'm guessing about 41,000 students. But, you know, we will have data broken down for our schools too.
Great, thank you. We also know that dropping a program into the middle of an otherwise unhealthy school culture will have limited success at achieving the goal school-wide. However, with the right programs and the right additional elements, we know schools can be socially and emotionally safe, as well as achieving academic excellence. Will you research or pilot programs with us that have proven successful in addressing bullying on school campuses and that have an emphasis on school culture transformation?
we would always be willing to look at programs and address issues to make the school safer. I don't believe that any student can learn or be a successful student if they are in fear of being bullied or any type of harassment at school. I would like to share at one of our schools just recently, they did a bullying harassment campaign, and they signed a friendship chain where students wrote their names on strips of paper to create a paper chain of students who promised to be friends of others. They had given me some of the activities that they did. They had posters on the campus, they had bulletin notices, they had the slogans, "The end of the bullying begins with me," "Dare to be different," "Stand up to bullying." They had bracelet sales, they had friendgrams, they talked about the effects of bullying.
Thank you, Dr. Farber. Just as a real quick follow-up, or just to make sure I understand, you will be willing then to research with us other proven successful programs that address anti-bullying on school campuses?
I'm happy to work with you.
This is question 4 for Dr. Farber. Many people believe that bullying is inevitable, just a normal part of growing up. Thank God that's not true. It doesn't have to be this way. Our research has uncovered that some schools have terrible, widespread bullying, while in other schools, bullying is very rare. We also discovered that this sharp difference between schools is not random. The schools where there's little bullying work very hard to create a particular culture where children and adults treat each other respectfully. So the great news is that it is quite possible to create excellent schools where our children don't have to worry about their physical or emotional safety. These schools are rare, no doubt, but they are out there. We've seen them. Will you, Dr. Farber, visit Village School in Campbell and Summit Charter Prep High School in Redwood City with us to learn and utilize some of their best practices for creating school cultures of academic success, respect, emotional safety, and who are also able to focus on the social emotional health of students?
I would be willing to visit those schools, and I would invite you to visit some of the programs that we share on our campuses, including Catholic Charities, California Youth Outreach, Ming Kwang Counselors, Peer Counselors, Cornerstone with ourselves and our partner district, the Conflict Resolution classes, and our TOPS program.
Thank
If we
you.
can add additions, we would be happy to.
Thank you. This sounds like a win-win. We want to work with you, and it sounds like you are willing to work with us. We can set up a schedule, and we can do lots of visiting of schools that have the best practices and learn from them. Thank you.